And we're live.
Cool, man. It's been a while since we've done one of these, huh?
Yes, sir. It's been a bit, but we have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah. Where do you want to start, man? You want to start talking about the upcoming fight card? You want to start talking about the 35-pound division and what the next fight looks like for that? Where do you want to start, man? I got a whole bunch of talking notes.
Why don't we go ahead and start back at the Khabib? Let's go bring it back a little back that way.
Okay. Khabib versus Gaethje, huh?
Yeah. What a build up, right?
What a buildup, and I kind of feel like I was let down a little bit.
I was too. I mean, it just shows how good Khabib is, but I mean, Gaethje, I honestly thought Gaethje would have been the guy that dethrones Khabib.
A lot of people did, man. That's why it's very intriguing fight, and he hit him with some big shots. It seemed.
Yeah, Khabib just walked him down.
He
He wore him.
Dude, not only that, right? You talk about a broken foot, and apparently he had like a really, really bad case of like pneumonia or something. Khabib was not 100% Khabib, which is even crazier.
Yeah, he definitely just it's crazy how good he is that he made Gaethje look like that. Gaethje was gun shy. He was tentative. He did not want to throw.
He did, man, especially with that. He threw maybe like two or three good leg kicks. And then after that, Khabib was doing a really good job of closing that distance off and making it a phone booth fight, which going backwards in a phone book is not good for Gaethje.
Yeah, I'm surprised Khabib just wore those leg kicks too. I mean, he felt them. You could
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
that was like the first time we've ever seen Khabib like not worry about something, but just actually take something and it affect him,
yeah. And all
which is
this,
pretty intense.
yeah, I was gonna say all this talk of him coming back. I don't think so, man. I think that was. I like to think that was it, dude. I like to think it was him. Now, where do you feel he lies in that goat conversation?
Um, I I think that there is like an argument to say Khabib is the goat because he's not only been dominant, he's never had a defeat, and I just feel like if there was a Khabib at every weight, that Khabib would win every weight class.
Yeah, I think that's very very true. I mean, I guess the other side of that coin is John Jones, right? And how he is arguably undefeated in his weight class. He has been touched, and there's been a few controversial decisions as of late. But earlier on in his career, prior to the PEDs and the drunk driving and the standing on one leg, crying for his life to the cops, he was that guy, man. He was that son of a bitch, and now he's going up to heavyweight and
So he
trying to challenge there.
says.
Yeah, and he looks thick as fuck, man. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the Khabib argument considering how stacked that 55 division is. But f- I thought it was rude of John Jones to take the shine away from Khabib. He should have let that moment belong to Khabib.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of selfish at Jones, and but I mean, selfishness has got him where he is as in terms of being a champion.
Yeah, and he's
But I
stayed
mean,
relevant too. Think about it, he hasn't fought in like how many years? Was it like
here
a year and
is
a half? Yeah.
here's my whole take on Khabib versus Jones in that regard
Hmm.
is Khabib has lost what one round his entire career, and especially in the UFC,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
even in that one lost round, he finished the guy. All right, it
yeah.
was Connor.
Hmm.
So John Jones has lost several rounds in his last few fights, and that could be age catching up to him. But still,
Yeah.
when you compare, I think Khabib fought 60 rounds and won 59 of them, basically. And John Jones has had two controversial decisions in a row. He's had lackluster performances, like
Hmm.
against, I think ever since he came back and fought OSP, he just hasn't looked good.
With the exception of the Alexander Gustafsson fight.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, but outside of that, you are absolutely correct. He has looked mortal.
Yeah, and Khabib never has.
Yeah.
And that's in terms of the dominance and basing division against division, I think currently the top 10 of the lightweights are a much more like a much more stacked talent pool than the top 10 of the light heavyweights.
No, I agree, man. I agree completely. And I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but somebody else mentioned that if Habib was fighting at 205 and it was the same guy, he would probably maul John Jones.
Yeah, but it's also like we never have seen a guy do anything to Jones, and like even in terms of wrestling, like Daniel Cormier, I think he got John Jones down once,
No,
twice in his
that's
fights,
true. Yeah, yeah,
but it's like so John Jones has never looked bad when he wrestles. Now, when he is standing there striking and not wrestling, he looked vulnerable. But Khabib,
very good
we've never
point.
seen a guy like 205, like a Khabib, just constant pressure, just is going to get that takedown regardless of what's
Yeah,
coming his way.
like doesn't care if he's getting hit with anything, he's still gonna come forward.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's under that beard, if it's granite or something, but he has no fear of coming forward from anyone.
What was that quote in Snatch when they were talking about the Russian, where they said he's as hard as the sickle and the hammer that's on that
Yeah.
flag?
Yeah. I mean, Khabib is just I think he's the GOAT. I think John Joe's in second. I mean, there's an argument for 1 and 2 with them, but I think personally, I think Khabib is going to be the most dominant fighter the UFC has ever seen.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
But at the same time, skill versus skill, I think John Jones is way more overall skilled.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the striking I've heard that we've kind of seen it in glimpses, but haven't really seen it to the tune of a full war. But we've seen Khabib's boxing, right? And it's competent. I would say it's very competent, right?
It's
But
sloppy, and it's based off of his takedowns.
mhm. But John is diverse and he's very creative and he's very ballsy, so he takes risks with a lot of his strikes. And fortunately for him, it paid off like when it needed to pay off.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, we've never how many times has John Jones actually knocked somebody out? There's Daniel Cormier.
yeah, Daniel Cormier with the head kick,
Uh-huh.
right? And then he's TKO'd Brandon Vera.
Yes, he did. But that was like he hit Brandon Vera with an elbow from the guard or something, right? And
It
broke his
shattered his
orbital.
orbital. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a pure TKO. I don't think he's ever pure TKO'd anybody or pure KO'd
Yeah.
anybody. I
So
mean, he submitted quite a few people.
yeah, so I'm
You know.
guessing, and what I'm trying to get at is like his grappling, like Khabib, is just his bread and butter, and he uses his striking to get there, which would have made him more dominant. But John Jones has decided, for whatever reason, his last few fights that he would not like to wrestle. Like,
Yeah.
even though I think John Jones at like between him or Khabib, I think one of them has the best wrestling we'll ever see in MMA.
But yeah, I mean, especially considering the length that John Jones has too, and he's able to just grab any part of that limb and just suck it in.
Well, it's not it's also the diversity of attacks. Like early in his career, he was doing a lot of like Greco-Roman throws and everything, and it's like he doesn't do that anymore, and he usually will just go for a single and get
I,
somebody down, but
I wonder what that is and what changed that.
probably just fell in love with his striking.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe he's just one of those people. He feels like, you know what, I'm going to beat you at your own game.
Could be. Or he could be like Gaethje and he doesn't like wrestling.
Yeah, like I think a mentality thing. I think it is. This is just my opinion, but I think that it is a I'm going to beat you at your own game type situation. He out wrestles Cormier because he hangs his hat on that all the time, where he talks about I took you down 7 times, you took me down once, right? And then
Mhm.
against Tiago and against Dominic Reyes, he tries to outstrike him. Didn't once go for a takedown. I think in OSP he tried to outstrike him too. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a mixture of everything. But that's one of the reasons I think. Um,
Yeah, then he submits Lyoto Machida, black belt.
mhm.
He submitted Vitor, right?
Yeah, he submitted Vitor after Vitor caught him in that nasty armbar.
Yeah, he got Vitor with the what, an Americana?
Yeah, yeah. Then he ended up subbing Rampage shortly after, but it was a triangle. Remember that?
No, it was
Y-
rear naked.
Yeah, it was. That's right. That's right. But at the end of the first round, he
He went for
did.
a
Yeah,
flying
he went for
triangle.
a flying triangle, and he almost had it had there not been more time.
Yeah. We watched that fight when we were in Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. At Cabo Wabo,
Yeah.
I remember that, man. I remember that distinctly. I
Yeah,
was so
so
pissed.
I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was just pissed that John Jones ended up winning against Vitor because I thought Vitor was gonna rattle his cage.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought a lot of people were gonna rattle his cage, and he's come back and just set it straight. I'm glad. I'm not glad, but I am that Khabib is retired in the sense that it gives new life to the division. Like
Oh,
more
I agree.
movements can be made.
No, I agree, man. And speaking of which, let's talk about that fight that just got signed yesterday officially. Connor
Yeah.
versus Poirier 2.
I think it's gonna be a good fight. Poirier, I feel like in the time that they've since fought, Poirier has improved leaps and bounds
Oh,
more
I
than what Conor
I
has.
100% agree. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Poirier ends up submitting Connor.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Or Conor could starch him again.
Yeah.
Or who knows? I mean,
I,
Poirier's got
I,
some power.
I tell you what, if this goes 5 rounds, this is going to be one of the greatest fights of all time.
I feel like every fight with Poirier that goes 5 rounds is the greatest fight of all
Oh man,
time.
I couldn't agree more. Poirier is it's that chin. It's that chin and that willingness to take and give that makes him and he's clean, man. Like his striking, like when he hits a good shot, like it's a beautiful thing. Like he is very, very competent. And I think what I've heard, stop me if you've heard different, but I heard that Connor took this fight because he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao after, and that Dustin Poirier is a really good southpaw, arguably the best boxer in the 55-pound division.
Okay.
And
I haven't heard that.
yeah, and I think I heard that Connor had actually put his stamp on it. That yes, that is correct. That is the reason why I want to fight him and then fight Manny after.
Well, then I hope Conor gets starched.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd love to see Manny starch him, but just like that seems like he's overlooking Poirier at that point. That's not cool.
kind of, but he's also kind of gauging his like because that that Manny Pacquiao fight's not signed, right? So it's just
Yeah.
it's all speculatory. They both kind of want it, but I think he's just gauging how he's going to do against the southpaw.
Yeah, that could be.
Because
I'm excited. I mean,
Oh, I was gonna say, so sorry, Mayweather. That was something that Mayweather used to do too. He would take a like a jabroni fight, somebody that was like a southpaw or something, or a different style that would match up against somebody that was like a big style that or a big name that he was set to fight. Like he took how many southpaws before he fought Manny Pacquiao? You know,
I couldn't tell you.
yeah. I there was a few. There was a few that he took before fighting Manny, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, but back to what are we talking about? Poirier, Connor.
Poirier Connor, man, 5 rounds. I mean, Poirier arguably is one of my favorite fighters. And in every one of his fights, win or lose, that man puts it out there. Now, I would feel absolutely robbed if this ended in the first round the same way the first fight ended.
Yeah, I want to see at least 3 rounds out of this, like
Yeah.
3 competitive rounds.
Oh man, because you just think of maybe Dustin Poirier's last 4 or 5 fights outside of the Khabib fight, and he has put on some amazing him versus Eddie Alvarez 1 and 2, him versus Gaethje, him versus Dan freaking Hooker. Like, dude, those like I still have the Dan Hooker versus him recorded and I still watch it. Like that's the type of fights that that guy brings. He's got that I don't give a shit attitude. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to get hit. I might get knocked out. But if I don't, I'm still going to keep coming forward.
Yeah, and we saw that in the Hooker fight. Like Hooker was landing heavy, but
Yeah.
he was landing heavier.
Yeah, and he would just sit there and he'd kind of shake it off like, "Damn, why did I get hit by that?" But his he's good, man. He is good. And
Yeah, and
I
I mean, people sleep on his ground game because we
oh
forgot
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, we didn't need to because we're so busy watching him. We're watching him box, and like it's his boxing. Like I've said it a million times, a beautiful boxing, such a beautiful box, just a beautiful boxer. He's got that southpaw stance that
Yeah.
he throws that straight, just so beautiful down the middle. But I mean, Connor's boxing's amazing too.
Yeah, I mean, he's good, but Connor, like, he's overall striking good.
Hmm.
And I've actually like watching Connor fight Khabib or watching Khabib fight Gaethje, watching Khabib fight Poirier. It's just amazing how well Connor did, like in
Yeah,
retrospect, like
you remember?
relative to them.
Yeah, you remember that first round when Khabib really had to work for that takedown?
Yeah, he ate a knee for coming in too. Like Connor timed it perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, Connor's a smart guy, man. So he's always got a something else up his sleeve, like that Cerrone shoulder that he did,
Yeah,
like where he leaped into it. Like, dude,
that
nope.
broke my heart.
Yeah, man, broke my heart too. I thought it broke his jaw, but um, yeah. So outside of that fight too, we also are potentially getting Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler.
Is that gonna happen? I mean, I know that like Michael Chandler or Tony was calling Michael Chandler out.
Yeah, so this something the way the story goes, the way the timeline is Chandler was calling out Tony Ferguson for quite some time, right? Tony Ferguson finally said, "I'll fight on December 12th." By that time, apparently Michael Chandler had something locked up. So then Tony Ferguson came back, said, "Oh, something along the lines of like, you're bitching out or something. I called UFC and they said you had something lined up. If you want to fight me, quit playing games or something and fight me December 12th." And then Justin Gaethje said, "No, why don't we make it January 20th? Because I think he wants to be the undercard on the Conor Poirier fight."
Okay, that makes sense. It's a big card, a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
exposure.
oh man, I think we've talked about this before, and one thing that Connor brings is he brings a different type of energy to his fights. His fight cards mean a little bit more for whatever reason. I mean, it's probably because of the Irish people, but for the most part, like it's a different energy when Connor fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just his Irish fans. It's Connor has developed such a fan base around. He's just because he's a
He's
shit talker and he
yeah.
backs it up, and
Oh, and
people like that.
he's polarizing, right?
Yeah.
Like just anywhere, like he's he in a sense he's actually no. I will say this: he's bigger than the sport of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I could say that. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I could see it if somebody were to say that. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. I mean, he's
He's
left the sport in
yeah.
terms of like his popularity.
Exactly, and he's got his whiskey line and stuff, and he's sitting on a fat check, right? But the man's a born fighter, dude. So we'll see how it all plays out when he does fight Poirier, man. But that's something I'm excited about. But going back to Ferg and Chandler, so if that goes down and that's on the undercard, ooh
Yeah,
man,
that's a hell of a card.
that's a hell of a fight too, man. Right?
So I was thinking about this. Okay, so if we have Connor Poirier,
Mm-hmm.
and let's just say we have Chandler Ferguson tied up,
Mm-hmm.
I maybe we can see RDA and Dan Hooker. RDA is coming off the win. Dan Hooker's coming off the loss.
Of course, yeah. We still
But where
have.
does that put Gaethje?
Oh, I was gonna say Oliveira is still looking for a fight. I
That
don't
is
think it.
true, and
Yeah,
he's quietly climbing.
yeah. He's won like how many in a row, dude? Like 7 in a row or something.
Yeah, nobody's talking about it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's good.
He's like
He's so
number
good.
oh, dude, DuBronx is like 26 or 27, right?
He's young.
Yeah, and he's got like close to 40 fights, right?
Yeah, and a lot
He's
of them are submissions.
yeah, submissions, knockouts, like he's very diverse. I would like to see him and Dan Hooker fight, but I think he is fighting next week maybe against he's fighting Benil Dariush.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well then, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I could see Oliveira pulled out. So he was scheduled to fight October 4th against Benil Dariush. Oliveira pulled out early September, and they haven't said whether or not Dariush is still going to be on the card, but
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think
okay.
I don't think the fight's going on right now.
Oh, okay. Well, he's free. Dan Hooker's free. I think that's a good fight. Um, yeah, I don't know where that leaves Gaethje.
Well, what if we do Dan Hooker either against since Oliveira still hasn't we don't know about his injury. We could do Oliveira Benil Dariush or RDA Benil Dariush.
Well, you
Well,
know
they
what?
train at the same place, don't they?
Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go with Islam Makhachev
Okay.
versus Mr. Charles Oliveira.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we can go with the Ferg Chandler. Actually, I don't know. Actually, what I would do is I would go Ferg Hooker is where I would go. I'd go Ferg Hooker, both coming off of losses,
Okay.
and then I would go Chandler
Gaethje.
Gaethje.
Okay. You know who we are missing from these talks?
Who?
Gregor Gillespie and Kevin Lee.
Ah, Lee's lost quite a few of his last fights. I think he's like 1-3 in his last 4.
He is. He lost to Iquinta, Dos Anjos, and then he beat Gillespie with that
Yeah,
beautiful
head
knockout, and
kick.
then he
Yeah,
lost to Oliveira.
yeah. And I
But he's
think
still like a perennial like he's 1 or 2 fights away from really always coming back.
yeah, he's just a for me to have him fight like one of those top names in that division, he just has to do something else. I mean, maybe he could rematch Iaquinta. I don't know because Iaquinta's looking for a fight still, and I don't think he deserves any of those guys. Um,
Maybe Aiken to Gillespie.
yeah, maybe. I mean, but Gillespie, I don't even know when Gillespie's that head kick was so bad.
He's still out.
Yeah, I think he's still out. That wasn't what was that? January?
Yeah.
Might have been January, man. Yeah, and he is still out. So I don't. I think his team is like, hey, okay, we're gonna do this reset a little slower this time. Like we're not gonna jump at a Kevin Lee, even though everybody thought he was gonna beat Kevin Lee.
Fun fact about Gregor Gillespie now that I'm looking up his stuff.
Mhm.
So he's obviously a 4-time All American, 1-time national champion. His senior year, when he was his senior year in 2009, he placed fourth, right? Good. It's amazing.
Yeah.
In that time, he lost to Jordan Burroughs, and then his next match, he beat Michael Chandler. He actually dominated Michael Chandler.
Wow.
Yeah, but Jordan Burroughs dominated him,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
goes without saying.
So, yeah, I just both of those guys, those names don't. I don't think they should get anybody. I mean, Benil Dariush maybe, but I don't think any of those guys should get anybody with clout.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of it goes back to my saying is the 155 division is so deep
Hmm.
that the bottom 5 of the top 10 or even just the top 15 is just so good.
Yeah, and it's sad because the top 15 in the UFC is like the top 15 in Bellator too, with
Yeah,
the exception of like Patricky, whoever the 55-pound pit bull is, whoever that guy
Patricio.
is. Yeah, but outside of that, it's like a very very weak division,
I agree. Um,
like sadly weak.
yeah, they have a lot of stars that are not UFC like expats, but
Hmm.
like it's kind of just the UFC's like retirement home sometimes,
It is. It is.
which is good for them because like Benson Henderson, they can use him as like a good measuring stick of how their fighters are. And
It's
like they
just
can
yeah.
say like, oh, former UFC Benson Henderson is either winning or losing. Either way, our fighters are his caliber.
Oh yeah, no, he just lost the other day to Jason Jackson.
Okay, so he lost yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He went up to welterweight, took the fight on short notice apparently, but just
Oh, this was a welterweight fight?
yeah, he just needs to
God.
stop at welterweight, man. And so he's like the only recognized. I mean, Marcin Held I think is back over there, but there's
Yeah,
really no
but
names at
Marcin
55.
Marcin
Oh,
Held
Roger
was a
Huerta. Yeah.
yeah. Marcin Held was a Bellator product before he was a UFC product though.
Yeah, and then he got dominated in the USC. He went back to Bellator.
Yep.
So it's just
Uh
it just goes to show I don't really Dave Rickles, Sadawad,
Saeed Awad.
yeah, Saeed Awad. You know, those are some names that I recognize because I watch mixed martial arts.
Rick Hahn.
Yeah, Rick Hahn. Isn't he like the gold medalist judoka or something?
I don't know about gold medalist, but he was like a very high level judoka. But again, that just speaks to Bellator stuff that like their top fighters are either like one or two of their own guys and then UFC fighters who left.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, so they do have some very intriguing big names, but like a lot of their stars, maybe they feed them to somebody too fast and they ends up knocking their shine. Like Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico, like you're talking about like ridiculous talents everywhere. Right? He's like a junior national champion in wrestling. Right? You're talking about a junior gold gloves boxer. Actually, I don't think he was junior gold gloves boxer or anything, but he's going rounds with Manny Pacquiao. And Freddie Roach is saying that hey, he could go straight into boxing and becoming a boxing world champion if he wants to. Like we're talking about that type of level of A, commitment and B, talent, right? And he works his ass off. Like that guy works his ass off. But man,
But
that
for every
chin.
mayor, yeah,
Yeah.
but for every Aaron Pico that the Bellator produces, like they can only hold on to him for so long before he's just gonna decide to make the move to the UFC.
Yeah, and part of that's their talent pool too. That's why Chandler left.
Yeah, but it's also like for every Aaron Pico or Michael Chandler, like a Bellator raised product, you have, 15 other guys that like wouldn't be in the top 10 of the UFC.
Easily, yeah, I agree. I agree. But yeah, going back to like the whole like you think about MVP and when they put him against Lima, Lima showed people that this guy's not a real mixed martial artist. He hurt Lima, right? He hit him with the overhand. Lima got staggered, but then Lima came back, and as MVP was darting in, he gave him a leg kick, chopped out that front lead leg, caused him to topple on his front side elbow, and then as he was getting up, he gave him an uppercut and flatlined him. He looked like a fish.
Yeah, I know. It was so satisfying to watch.
Oh, I agree. I agree. But that was one of the stars that they were building, and they were also building Aaron Pico, and both guys they got knocked out in devastating fashion. So they do a really I think they do a shitty job of promoting people.
Yeah, hey, but they have to do it because if they go the slow route, these guys won't ever really be stars.
That's true. That's true. Like Raymond Daniels is 41 and he deserves to have that spotlight on him.
Yeah.
Even
Hey,
though yeah.
he's really good, but except for those 2 nut kicks, I feel bad for that guy.
Oh god, dude, that was the worst I've ever seen. All right, so going back the 55-pound division UFC deep, right? It's there still hasn't been any fights called for Oliveira, for Islam, for RDA, and for Justin Gaethje just yet. So hopefully they can get lined up soon, right?
Did you
And
say Dariush in that?
I didn't say I don't know why. I feel like a dick for not including Dariush, but sometimes
I
I
don't
just
think he is going to be a champion.
I don't think so either. It's like, he comes in with a big name because he's got that high profile grappling, right? But he just is he gets knocked out by guys who have superior striking.
Okay, let's go. Dariush and RDA. Or not RDA, Dubronx.
Okay, yeah. And then we'll go RDA. Let's go let's go RDA
RDA Hooker?
Islam.
Yeah, I mean that's the fight that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, let's go back to RDA Islam. Um Hooker. Where do we leave Hooker? Hooker Fergie.
No, I think Ferguson gets someone better.
Chandler, you think?
Probably. I don't
Hmm.
think I mean, it would be a fun fight, but I think Chandler and Ferguson are gonna be the one that tied up.
So I still don't know where that leads Gaethje.
I mean, he didn't get knocked out, so he shouldn't be out that long. Maybe
No,
he wants to take a year off because he fought a bit this year. I mean, what did he do? He fought Ferguson and then he fought Khabib.
yeah, what he said at the post interview is, "Hey, I'm so glad that I didn't get knocked out and I got choked out, which means I can start training again because I want to fight before the year is up."
Oh yeah, he's not gonna fight before a year's up.
Yeah.
Unless like
He might, you know
he
what?
fights at 170 if somebody drops out.
Yeah, but I was just thinking he might end up on that Connor card.
Possibly, but I mean again, who is it?
Yeah, against who? But okay, so we'll pencil in Gaethje for that, right? With a question mark.
Yeah, Gaethje might get like the winner of
Oh my god.
Connor. Yeah, he might be waiting to get the winner of Connor and Poirier.
We forgot about Paul Felder in this mix.
Did we though?
Against non-wrestlers. Can I get Felder Hooker 3?
Did they fight once before?
I thought they fought twice before.
I think you mean Barboza Hooker.
No, no, no. Hooker and Felder fought.
Yeah, they fought once. I just don't know if they fought twice.
Oh, oh, oh. Well, then can we get a rematch?
I'd be okay with a rematch. Let's see. Yeah, they only fought once.
I would
And I
like her.
thought it was a fight that Felder won.
And a lot of people did too. But I think that this fight, because remember it was supposed to be like one. He's like, okay, I'm retired, and then he takes the RDA fight, right? And after his post fight interview, he was like, I've got this fire reignited in me again. Like
Yeah.
am I am ready to go. And, when people talk about levels to this, like you saw it right then and there, right? Felder is fucking incredible. He's a world class fighter, right? He hasn't really trained any MMA from what we know. He's been training for a triathlon, right? But he went in there against RDA, and RDA pretty much had his way with him in terms of the grappling, which,
Yeah.
again, there's levels to this. And if you're not training specifically for that, then you're going to get trapped one way or another. But I mean, big ups to him for taking that fight on short notice, 5 days, incredible. He's a beautiful human being.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is this is what RDA's first fight
Back
in
at
lightweight
Mhm.
from so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 fights at welterweight. But before that fight, he what lost to Tony Ferguson and then lost to Eddie Alvarez. That was it. Before that, he took out Jason High, Ben Henderson, Nate Diaz, Anthony
Yeah,
Pettis,
it is.
Donald
Yep.
Cerrone.
Yeah. Goes all the way back up into his loss with Khabib.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he was touch and go with welterweight. I mean, he submitted Neil Magny, which is a huge feather in his cap.
Oh
He beat
yeah.
Robbie Lawler. Then he lost to Colby and Kumaru. Then he lost to Leon Edwards and Michael Chiesa, which that Chiesa fight, I was very impressed with Chiesa.
Yeah. He out RDA'd RDA.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course, he's just
but
a bigger version of RDA. Also,
that's crazy that Chiesa is that big and that strong. Then he was at lightweight.
I know. I know. He was probably killing himself to get down there.
Yeah, but we have RDA back in the lightweight mix, and that's even more beneficial because we just have such a deep pool.
Yeah, you're talking about a former champion that is kind of the quote unquote gatekeeper, but he's
Yeah,
still
I mean,
incredibly talented.
I honestly think RDA could still win the title at 155. That's that kind of division where it's like everyone there is like a fight or two away from a title shot and winning.
Yeah, could be, man. I just I think my feelings on RDA is he's just a little bit older than he used to be.
Hmm. Yeah,
And part of his stuff was like that nonstop motor and that speed. At 170 you could get away with it because some of the guys are a little slower and he was a lot smaller than some of the guys. But at 55, I think he's going to have a problem dealing with some of the speed, especially with some of the younger guys.
yeah. I mean, we'll
Actually, you
see.
know what though? As I say younger guys, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I think those guys in the with the exception of like Dan Hooker, Islam, DeBronx, like a lot of those guys in that weight class are about his age, like anywhere from like 32 to 35. Where's he? Is he 38 though?
He's 36
30. Okay, so he's kind of right up in there too.
and Islam's 29. So I
Yeah,
mean, they're all going to be in their like late, like the top 10 are going to be in their late 20s, early to mid 30s because that's kind of like
just general
the
peak season.
prime.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, yeah, I'd like to see him against like a Hooker or do Bronx or something,
yeah.
or back to Islam, just somebody that's like just chipping away at that top five.
Yeah, I mean, we have Islam, which is that's the fight that should have happened. So hopefully they get to make that again. So that'll free up Islam and RDA. So then we can start making other. You listening, Dana?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Are you the one?
yeah.
The one or two?
So I mean, moving on from that, what else do we got on our talking points?
We got Mike Perry.
Mike Perry missing weight by what, 5 pounds?
Oh, it was, yeah, it was something silly, and I remember a couple weeks ago he was tweeting at Ruthless. Do you remember that Robbie Lawler tweets where he was like, "Robbie, how's the weight cutting going? I haven't really been training. I've just been like playing video games or something, something along those lines." And at that time, he was like, I think he was like plus 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 20. I don't know. It was a big cut, but yeah, he missed weight. I feel bad because he's going to knock out Tim Means with that extra weight. Even though
You think that's going to make a difference?
I think so, man. Because he didn't have
We'll
to
see.
kill. He didn't have to kill himself for a cut. Even though he says like, I was killing myself for the cut. Like, really, 7 pounds?
Yeah.
You know what I
Who
mean?
knows?
That's on weigh-in day. Like, yeah. So I don't know. I think it does. Tim's been in some wars. The Dirty Bird has been in some absolute slugfest. So I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, damn you, Mike Perry. Damn you.
Speaking of damn you, the UFC books Anthony Hernandez versus Rodolfo Vieira for January 16th.
Who's Anthony Hernandez?
Don't know. He's about to get eaten alive, though.
Yeah. Did you see Adolfo's last fight?
Uh, I think we did.
I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it. I ended up seeing like he won. I want to say via submission, but he got cracked, I think.
Yeah, he's undefeated. He won via arm triangle. This was March 7th, so he hasn't fought since March.
Yeah, he got cracked. Who was he fighting? Who did he fight last?
Uh, I can't say his name. Saparbek Savarov.
Oh no, you did a fantastic job saying his name.
And then the
That
guy
was
before Oscar Piechota.
you did a superb job.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's gonna be a good fight. It's in a month or less than a month, so that's good.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. And then you got UFC 254. You got
Who's on that?
Figueredo versus Perez on the main card.
UFC 254,
Or I'm sorry, 255.
255. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
did you know that Bellator's like at 235 right now?
Well, they had an event every week.
Yeah, so I wonder when they're going to catch up to the UFC.
I mean, yeah, there was a time where Bellator had fights. I mean, now they do, but there was a time where they didn't, which was short lived. But they had fights every single week.
Yeah, it was weird how Bellator did it because they did it in seasons. Remember back then when it was like Eddie Alvarez was in there and they would do like,
Yeah,
oh, this is the lightweight season.
yeah. It was. I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of. I don't even know like who the champs are at this point. It's they have a weird structure. Yeah, but the belt moves. It's like someone's a champ, and then there's a tournament. And I did they take the belt away? What happens? I don't
Yeah,
know.
so they sometimes they break away from their tournament format and
Hmm.
sometimes they don't. It's really weird. They give $1 million still though, just like the PFL.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, where so if you win your bracket, you get $1 million. But yeah,
Hey, good for them.
yeah, like AJ McKee, man, that dude's a stud, man. 45. It's gonna be an interesting fight against him and Pitbull. It's gonna be fun. But
Yeah. Also, 255. We have Shevchenko versus Jennifer Maia, which it's going to be another
Chev,
possibly a Valentina knockout.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Caitlin Chukagan. Yeah, I mean
against
Cynthia Calvillo.
yep. Is she still training over at Alpha Male or did she switch camps?
Mm, AKA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it just down the road, I guess. Basically,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I wonder what prompted that switch. But
maybe
yeah.
she just moved.
We also have Perry versus Tim Means,
Perry to means Shogun Paul Craig.
Shogun and Paul Craig. Yeah. Then
Which
we
what are
got
they looking like right now? Because Paul Craig's on. He's coming off of a fight off of I cannot say his name, but he had a draw against Shogun 2 fights before this.
yeah.
Shogun is coming off of a win over Lil Nog.
Which is the fact that they're still both fighting. I'm like, just please, Shogun, just hang it up, please. Like he
So the
just,
crazy thing, we're talking about age. Shogun's only 38.
oh, I know. You want to
Like
talk,
he's not that old,
but his
but he
body
feels
says
it.
52.
Yeah. Like it's like he's been fighting for 100 years now.
But we've been watching him fight since he's been like 19.
Yeah. But that'll be an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
Where does Shogun fall in the rankings?
I mean, he's
That's
probably like he's like number 10, maybe.
and that goes back to my whole thing about how weak the 205 is.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like he is, let's see. Okay, so Shogun's 14th,
Oof.
but who's 14th in the lightweight?
Can you name 14 lightweights?
Um, let's see, lightweight 14th, Gregor Gillespie.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah. It's not, I don't know. It needs more life in that division. But I think
Then
it's
we
like,
have
I think
I'm sorry, go on.
I was going to say every 205 division, I can't, there's not a good 205 division anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
I,
it used to be.
yeah.
I
Like,
mean, but
it's not a money division anymore. Maybe that's why Jones left.
maybe. But now we have also on that card we have Antonina Shevchenko,
Oh, against Ariana Lipsky, dude. You know who Ariana Lipsky is?
the Queen of Violence. Of
The
course, I know who she
violence
is.
queen, dude. Did you see what she did in her last fight?
It was that knee bar, right? Or-
Oh, dude. That poor lady.
I think Ariane Lipsky. This has nothing to do with fight news, but she is probably the prettiest fighter on the roster.
She might
Like,
be.
yeah,
I might say Tracy Cortez.
I have to look her up. But like Ariane Lipsky comes to fight.
Yeah,
I
dude.
and I don't think Antonina is gonna. She's not as good
No,
as her sister.
not at all. Not at all. Yeah, and I don't know. She might get submitted. And you know what's funny about Lipsky is I had no idea Lipsky was Brazilian.
Oh, really?
Dude, she speaks like every time you see her, she's just fluent Portuguese. Like that's it. And that's why I was shocked. I'm like, what? Lipsky? Really?
Oh, you
Polish
didn't
by
know
way of
that?
Brazil? Yeah. I know. You're like, come on, dude. They're from Curitiba with that last name.
Yeah. See, so yeah, this fight with with a better
Headliner.
main event, yeah,
Yeah.
headliner, but it's just not. Personally, I would not buy this card. Like, unless you just really want to watch a fight.
I think I'm in that mindset where I think I just want to watch a fight. So I think I might just end up ordering it. Um,
I kind of want to just watch Mike Perry and Tim Means.
I mean, that's one of them, but I do want to see. I'm very intrigued about Figueiredo because if Figueiredo really is the deal that they're saying he is, he could possibly bring life to that 125-pound division. Like you're gonna have guys at 35 wanting to come down and fight him. I mean, you already saw it right with Cody Garbrandt, but I think that was just Cody wanting to take an easy way to a title.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how exciting 125 can always be. I mean, Figueredo's good, but it's gonna be like I feel like he is Henan Barrow of 125.
Yeah, but at least he can have other guys from 35 that carry big names
Yeah.
come down and fight him because that seems to be the new thing that happens where everybody is wanting to become champ or they want to just jump divisions and really test themselves. And Figueredo is one of those guys like that power might translate. Like
Yeah.
he's a big 20 like what he did to Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah, I know.
It just seemed like J Benz did not belong in there. And there was like every punch that he connected with, it just straight heat. So, dude, what if he's a knockout artist, right? What if Garbrandt comes down there and he knocks out Garbrandt, right? Just clean knockout. And then he starts building a name like with some of the 35ers that are jumping back and forth. You got Dodson that might come back down to 25, and he's always been like we've always said he's incredibly athletic, but he just for whatever reason can't win the fights.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would hope that the 125-pound division has some life soon. I would hate to see it like go by the wayside, especially considering the women's side of the 125. Arguably, that champion Valentina Shevchenko is arguably the greatest flyweight in the world. Not just men, not just women, but both. Like she is arguably the greatest flyweight in the world.
Like, so remember when people used to make the Ronda comparison, like, oh, Ronda could fight, she could possibly beat guys in her. No, she
Yeah,
could not.
yeah, but Shevchenko,
Shevchenko,
yes,
I'm
yeah.
like, that'd be a good fight with a lot of the guys in the top 25 or the top 10 of 125.
Yeah, because I mean this.
She's so good.
Yeah, if you think about the skill level that's involved to be the champion, right? Like, there's nobody that's close to her skill level, like anywhere. I mean, on the ground, Maya might be that girl on the ground. Although I will say this, but I think she fights at 115. Amanda Hebos.
Yeah, Amanda Hebus is really good too.
Amanda Hebos. She's that next generation of fighter whose father happened to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu, also a Muay Thai coach. So like she grew up in that environment. And she's still really, really young. You remember when everybody was getting so excited about Rory McDonald when he first came up?
Yeah.
And he submitted a Guyman Joker the Guyman, whatever Guyman Joker, whatever the hell his name is.
Mhm.
And he submitted him. People were like, he was what, 17, 18 when he did that? And
He
they
was
were
young.
yeah, and they were saying he's been training since he's 11 or 12. And so it's in his DNA. But now you think about it, like people have been training younger and younger. And Amanda Hebos is one of those products that now she's been cross training from the age of 4. So what is that going to she's 22, man, and her last like she looks really good in her fights, man. Really good.
She is 27.
Tw- I was way off, but still. She's 27.
You had
But
the first number right.
yeah, I had the 2, but yeah, she is incredibly gifted. And she could where's she fighting at? 115?
126.
126. So, she could be on a short run at against Valentina, and that's a fight that I would be very interested in.
Yeah. I'd see that. She's really good.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's either going to be the Valentina is still in her prime, or it's going to be the young lion that takes her out.
Yeah, but just the the discrepancy in talent between Valentina and the rest of the division,
It's huge.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's almost I don't know. It's almost unfair.
Yeah.
It's like they're just feeding her.
Speaking of unfair, you see Gordon Ryan move to Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico, yeah, man, good for him. That house looks
Yeah.
sick, dude.
Yeah, hopefully he's talking about how now, like, he is going to have even more time to train and all. He said it's everyone else is even more fucked than they were.
Yeah, yeah, because he was saying he was on lockdown and stuff. That was what match did I watched Lucas Barbosa fight the other day, and he dominated somebody. I can't remember who he dominated, and I just kept thinking to myself like, he dominated this guy, and then Gordon dominated him. I'm like, there's levels to this, and Gordon is like
Yeah.
that top tier.
Gordon doesn't just win. Like, he wins really decisively.
Oh man, when he was in ADCC, when he was going against Buchecha, remember that? And he set up Buchecha with that sweep.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, he isolated the arm. I don't even know what it's called, but he ended up sweeping him from there. And I was like, he got the butterfly hooks in. I was like,
where he locks that
whoa,
shoulder.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, I get caught in that all the time too, but I'm not Buchecha, so I'm more like Boo Boo Checha. That's what I am.
Yeah. He's in 2020 alone, I mean, Barboza's been really busy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, he just recently beat Oliver Taza, William Tackett, Leandro Lowe. Yeah, it's Rafael Lovato, he armbarred him.
that was crazy.
Yeah. Or he armbarred Roberto Jimenez, but I feel like those guys are much smaller than him.
Yeah, yeah. Roberto Jimenez is really. I heard he's about 165 pounds or something. 100, somewhere
Yeah,
between
it's
165 and 185.
I'm gonna see Paulo Miao on this list.
Yeah. Oh, you know who's going against Young Cobra? Kennedy?
Gio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you know if it's I'm guessing it's Nogi.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I've never seen Gio
I
Inagi.
know. I thought about that for a second. I'm like, wait, why would I? What a dumb question. But
Stupid.
that's intriguing, man. That's pretty good. Kennedy's really good too.
Yeah, he's really coming into his own.
Yeah.
And then what about what's his name? The the prodigy out of fucking
The black belt killer?
yeah.
It's
From
the blue room? Enzo?
I can't no, 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 no.
Donaher?
Um no, no, no. He's out on the West Coast. The
Tannen
twin
Delpra?
brothers. Yes. Tin and Delpra.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's the one that submitted Bill Cooper, right?
Yes. When he was a blue belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he is now a brown belt.
I
He
th-
just I think he just got his brown belt.
I think you might be right. But yeah, he's a stud too, man. And then there's the young Mike. Is he the one that looks like the young Mayao?
No. He's Tin and Delpra is thick.
Who is the young Mayao? Like I can't think of his name. Young Meow he looks like a Meow brother.
It's definitely not him.
Yeah, I don't think I can figure it out, and I don't even want to look it up. So if you guys know that answer, go ahead and at me at
Um,
Oshkosh.
oh no, Tannen Dalpra got his black belt recently.
Oh
He
wow.
got it when he just won. That's right.
Okay. That's who.
Yeah, so he just got it in October
So this
because
guy
he won the pans.
Costa BJJ is who is where I'm thinking.
Art of Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know why I could not think of that school.
AOJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Paulo Costa Bohachina. Oh, it's just a Bohachina flow. Whoa, look, there's some Paulo Costa videos in at the American Nationals.
What are we looking up? Sorry.
I was looking up who the Costa BJJ black belt is that looks like the Meow brother. I can't think of who it is. But there's a lot of young prodigies that are out there. There's a guy named did I ever tell you about the Michael, Galvao?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, he's sensational, man. I haven't seen him in a while, but I still remember, like, watching him just, like, destroy people at the age of 13. It was like Evan. You remember when Evan was destroying us?
Yeah.
And we were like,
The the
"What the
adult
hell?"
killer.
Yeah, yeah. The breaker of men is what we called him.
Yeah.
But it was very
So
similar to that, but it's just levels to this, man. Levels to this and the amount of training that they do. I actually asked his coach. I said, how long has he been how long does he train? He goes, "Oh, dude, we get in at least like 4 to 5 hours a day." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And
yeah,
like,
Michael Galvao's 17.
yeah, now he is, man. But it's incredible. We're gonna see him move up the rankings pretty quick. And of course, the two brothers, the Ruotolo brothers,
Yeah.
Ty and Cade.
Mhm.
I love watching them fight too, man. I love watching them fight each other
Yeah,
because,
then you have, Nikki,
yeah, of course,
Ryan.
yeah. And then you got Nikki,
Just a bunch of young bloods coming in for they're all coming in.
yeah, and they're all guys that have been training probably since they were 3, 4.
Yeah, and they've always had it around them too.
You
Like,
know?
no, they didn't just get into training, like,
Yeah.
they've always it's in their blood at that point.
Oh, and at that point, it's like a natural love for it too. You're like, this is fun to me. This is hobby. Like, I have fun here. I have like, this is fun to me. So they end up staying in there a lot longer as opposed to being forced into the situation. They're just seeing that everybody else around them loves it, and they soak it up too, and they love it also. And then they get into
This is
the
back to MMA. I'm looking yeah. Back to MMA. I'm looking at this headline. The PFL is ecstatic about signing the Tom Brady of MMA to his roster, Fabricio
I
Verdum.
saw that, dude.
We're really gonna call Fabricio Verdum the MMA heavyweight goat?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, get out of here. I mean, if we're talking about who he has beat, then we can, I mean, maybe.
I mean, yeah, he had
Just
Kane, he
just
got
yeah.
Fader.
Yeah, just by that alone, you go, "Yeah, probably." But then you look at the rest of his career, and you look at about what he's been up to recently. He's won his last fight, right? Did he
I
lose to
don't even
Volkov?
No, he said I don't remember. I think he beat Volkov. Did he submit him? Did he heel hook him? No, I'm thinking of the Joker.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was with Kelvin Gastelum, right?
Yeah, he heel hooked him. Fabricio Verdum, he last fought uh Gustafson. He beat Gustafson. He submitted him. He lost 2 in a row, one to Volkov via punch, and Alexei Olenek decisioned him, and then he beat Gustafson when Gustafson tried stepping up to heavyweight.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah,
But I
we
mean,
don't
if
need
we're talking GOAT, it's gotta be Stipe.
it's gotta be. He
Stipe or
defended the
Brock.
title the most times too, and then if
Won it again.
yeah, and then he ended up knocking out Verdum
Yeah, he put him cold.
in Brazil. Wasn't that in Brazil? Or was that in Ohio? That was Ohio, right?
I think it was Cleveland.
Yeah, because I remember OH.
Yeah.
IO. Yeah.
So then what do we have to come up next? I mean, we talked about Khabib. We talked about the vacuum that when he left, what it did to the lightweight division. I mean, we what do we have upcoming?
Let's take a look. UFC upcoming.
I mean, I don't think there's any big fights outside of like January's card
There
that
is
are
a
kind of
there is a
yeah, nothing
December
set up.
card.
They're kind of just probably
Oh,
take
here
what's
we
in
go.
December.
Here is the next one, right? Next week it is Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis,
Okay,
which
is that a pay per view?
no, free card.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Then you got Hanato Moicano at lightweight. If Moicano wins, there's an argument for him sitting in the
Oh,
top 10 too.
December 19th.
Yes.
That is a good card.
Yes, yes.
You have Hamzat versus Leon Edwards,
Mhm.
Jeff Neal versus Steven Thompson.
Oh,
Oh,
but you're also missing the Jack Hermanson versus Kevin Wineland, or Jack Hermanson Kevin Holland fight.
oh, I was like Kevin Wineland. What do you? But I mean, like December 19th. That's a
256.
good card. We have Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. Then we have Rob Font versus Marlon Moraes. Damn,
Oh
they're
yeah,
really stacking this one.
dude.
this is a fight night. This is not a pay-per-view either.
You know why, right? That
What is
might
that?
be the last card of the year.
So they're just Duran wins on it versus Antonio Braga Nieto.
Oh my god, Wynn's gonna get smashed.
Nah.
I like Wynn, man. I like Wynn, but he does not belong in that division. He's probably an inch taller than me.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a 185er.
He would be me if I decided to fight MMA, which I should not ever consider that, nor would I ever fight at 185 pounds.
I mean, and then shit in a they're starting January off strong.
Well, the first
January's
yeah, the first card is the big card, right? There's a
no
who is it?
Holloway Cater.
Oh yeah, that's huge. That's a huge
That's
fight.
January 16th. Yeah, no, well, it's not the big card.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The next one's a big card.
The next one's a big card. Then there's a card on the January 30th too,
I lo-
which it says TBA.
Yeah.
But are there any other fights announced? I mean, Matt Brown, Carlos Condit, Kelvin versus Ian Heinich.
Wow. Oh, they're coming out
Uh,
hot, dude.
yeah, I mean, this will be a good card.
What if
Fight night. I mean, shit's free.
I mean, I feel like we got to talk about him just because we brought it up. But how about Kazmat, dude? Hamzat
Yeah,
Chimaev. What if he's getting a title shot if he beats Leon, right?
I don't know if he'll get a title shot, but that's pretty. I mean,
I mean, that's the number two guy that you just took out.
yeah,
Like you have to give him a title shot from there.
possibly. I mean, he. I mean, who do you have in the welterweight title picture? You have Kamaru as champ,
You got Kamara, then you got Gilbert Burns who's fighting Kamaro, and then you got Leon Edwards, and then
or
you
you
got
have Colby.
you got Kobe number 3, and then you got Jorge number 4. So you either go with a rematch or you got to go with the fresh guy. And
Well,
Hamzat, if he beats Leon, we're talking about like Conor McGregor type hype. You know,
yeah,
like, and that's him versus Usman is a very sellable fight. Then
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
saying,
people want to
yeah,
see that.
I'm saying Usman because I'm assuming he's going to get past. Oh, you see what I did there? I'm
Hmm.
Usman. It doesn't work anymore, but I'm
No, it doesn't.
assuming, yeah, that he gets past Gilbert Burns. Even though Gilbert Burns is tough, man. I don't know if he's championship, although he has gone 5 rounds a few times and has dominated in those 5 rounds.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It could be interesting, but I think Usman's too good. But then you get Leon versus, or not Leon. Then you get Usman versus Hamzat.
yeah. I mean, we haven't seen a lot out of Hamzat, but what we have seen is really impressive. So we're gonna see it now against
Top level, like not
Leon
just yeah,
Edwards.
the top level. Like we're talking like upper echelon. Like
Yeah, I mean,
it's
this.
I'm excited.
Yeah, same here. I mean, Leon Edwards has been on a quiet tear, other than his loss to Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This 3 piece.
Yeah,
At least he
yeah,
got fed these knuckles. But yeah,
yeah. Leon Edwards is only 29 too, so he's younger.
no. But Leon Edwards is really really good, man. Really good.
But I mean, he last fought in July of 2019, so it'll be a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, arguably he almost lost to my guy out of what is it? Iceland? Gunner?
Gunner.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Gunner won that. Then he beats Dos Anjos.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't see the fight. I don't remember it, but
he beat Cowboy, you know.
he beat
He
Cowboy.
beat Cowboy, but yeah. So I don't know, man. Yeah, but if Hamzat wins, dude, that dude is getting a title shot. And you know what? If he gets a title shot, he's not going to stop there. He's going to get a title shot at 85, or he's going to work his way to a title shot at 85 also. So it would be incredible for the fans. It would be incredible for Dana White, and it would be incredible for Hamzat.
I feel like Hamzat's gonna fill that void that Khabib is leaving.
I hope so, man. Like I
And
really
I'm not
hope
trying to
this
say
is
like
yeah.
all Russian based fighters. Like I'm not trying to say that, but it's just like, well, he is gonna. I see him making a move to the AKA and just kind of following in that footstep.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I kind of agree. I mean, that's but he's gonna be doing that in two different weight classes. I mean, assuming that he ends up getting clean or like, has these clean fights that he's had in the past. But what if would it be weird to say what if he goes in there, takes down Leon, dominates Leon and submits him and doesn't get like a single punch thrown? Are we still going to like pretend that he does not have goat up capabilities? Or are we going to go, yeah, let's feed this man anybody he wants?
Well, it's kind of the same thing they did with they're probably gonna do the same thing with him that they did with Connor in the sense of, like, there will be a question mark. If, like, he doesn't strike with anyone, there's always gonna be a question mark of, like, "Yeah, well, he
But
can't
yeah,
strike with anyone."
we
That's the
don't
same
know
thing
how
when
he
they said
does
with
against
Connor.
other wrestlers.
Yeah.
Look what happened when he went against a wrestler in Chad Mendez. That we're talking about 2 weeks notice. Like just imagine if Chad Mendez had a full camp.
Yeah, it's that whole thing. I'm actually surprised. I for some reason, I thought Hamzat, maybe that's just because 'cause I'm an asshole, was just some was a master of combat and sambo or something.
Yeah, no,
He's not.
he's been
He's competed in judo and sambo, but
mhm.
he's just been wrestling his whole
Yeah,
life.
since the age of 4. But
Yeah.
you know where that comes from? We've talked about this before. It's the hair lip he has.
Mm,
I'm thinking
yeah.
he had to get into something pretty early, and his parents probably said, "You need to defend yourself." And so he goes in and he starts wrestling. Falls in love with
Yeah.
that, you know? And
And his wrestling, he was competing for Sweden too, which is huh. I would have never if you said a guy named Hamzat Chimaev, who was born in Chechnya and is a wrestler, where is he wrestling out of? Oh, Sweden.
yeah. But how good is Sweden's national wrestling though?
I don't know. I mean, Ilir Latifi, was he Swedish?
I think he was. He was Swedish by way of Iran. He wasn't good enough to wrestle for Iran, so I think he wrestled for Sweden.
Uh, you are very
Pl-
wrong.
Oh, well, that's nothing
He was
new. Yeah.
born in Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he wrestled for it says he representing Sweden, but I don't know how much of that he did at, like, the international level.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen Alir Latifi thinking that he's like the greatest wrestler. No, I saw that name and I immediately assumed he was a great wrestler.
Yeah, but he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah,
Huh,
he's a heavyweight
back
now
in
too.
MMA.
Yeah. Anyways, so but yeah, dude. So if Hamzat wins, Leon Edwards, that guy's getting a title shot, dude.
What if Leon Edwards wins?
Oh, then he's for sure getting a title shot. But it's a win lose situation for Hamzat. If he loses, it's
Yeah.
like, oh well, yeah, of course he lost. He lost to the number 3 guy in the world.
It'll be kinda like the same position that Sugar Sean's in, like, hype, and if he loses, everyone's like, "Well, he wasn't that great anyways."
Yeah. Well, or they go, oh well, yeah, he was still number 3. Let's put him against somebody else. But I guess it depends on how he loses. If he gets embarrassed, then we go, oh yeah, never mind. Back to the back of the
Yeah.
line. But if he at least is in there and he loses and it's 5 rounds and it's a split decision or something, then you could go, oh yeah, this guy belongs. This guy belongs in the top 3. He just
Now if he starches, Leon
Hamza.
Edwards.
Oh, if he
Yeah.
starts as Leon Edwards with something like like spectacular that we've never seen
Like what he
coming.
did to Gerald Meerschaert.
Yeah, if he does that, oh my god, dude. Like we're going to fall out of our chairs. Like we're going to think that this guy who's been wrestling since 5 is a knockout artist.
Yeah, I mean, shit, and then he wants to compete in both divisions. Like, that's the crazy thing is Khabib was like, "No, I'm a lightweight. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna."
Even though he walks
But,
around at like 190, he was like, this is my division. I stay here. I clean out division."
meanwhile, Hamzat's like, yeah, I'll 170, 185, cool, no
Cool.
big deal."
All right. What's next, Dana? Dana White. Which fight's next? Oh, I turned him Brazilian.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"Wait a second. You're gonna upset someone on this
I
podcast."
know. All
The
3
one
of them.
listener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost Dana White. Yeah. Dang it.
Yeah. Oh,
But
sorry, Vince.
yeah.
You know, you're the one listener.
But just imagine that though. Like he'll fight at 170. He'll defend that belt, but then he'll move up to 180 again, and he'll fight somebody at 180. And if he beats Leon, he's probably going to call out a top fiver in the 85-pound division too. Because who's going to tell him no?
I mean, how crazy would that be if he just takes no damage and just destroys Leon Edwards, and then a month later, he's fighting somebody in the top 5 of 185,
Oh man,
like
DC,
Yoel.
yeah, DC said something along the lines of, I think Ariel was asking him, Hamzat Chimaev, where is he at this time next year? And DC
Oh,
said,
yeah. I saw that.
Ariel, we're talking about the double champ. He's fighting for a title after he wins the 170 belt. He's fighting for an 85-pound title. And I was like, oh shit. Okay.
If he doesn't already have it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that was shortly after he asked him, did you ask for Hamzat's autograph? He said, come on, man. I'm Daniel Cormier. You think I asked him for his autograph?
Did you see what, speaking of Ariel, did you see what, Till said to Ariel?
About Mike Perry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I look, I've said this before, but Darren Till strikes me as a man who has gone through a lot of therapy
Mhm.
because he's very open and honest about himself and he doesn't pull back any punches. He doesn't bullshit. He really doesn't. He'll fuck around
Yeah.
and joke, but at the end of the day, like, oh, I really care for him. You know, Mike Perry hates me, but I just wanted to be there for him and fucking fight him in the back. You know,
Yeah.
like he's really honest about that stuff. And I think Darren Till really does respect Mike Perry, but he also likes to get under his nerves. It's just Mike Perry doesn't know how to handle that.
Yeah, Darren Till just, like, taking the piss.
Just so funny, dude. He is so funny. Bro, that that meme that he posted.
I know.
Oh my god, dude. I still think about that and laugh.
Yeah, I know how much you liked it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So,
Yeah. So what do you say we wrap this up?
let's do it, man. It was a great podcast, man. I really I enjoy doing these even though it's been a few months since we last did it, but whenever you want to, man. I'm here. I'm here.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up. Have a good one.
You do the
Vince,
same?
have a good one, Vince. Thank you. All right,
All
dude.
right.
Later.
Take it easy.
You too.